Time for an August update. Come join me in the chaos. All right, I'll start from this corner. So here's some of the pear trees that I grafted. These scions, that compared to my thumb, they've gotten a lot larger. I've actually had to prune them a few times because I had one fail and fall off just from its own weight. So I reinforced them with duct tape. Just make sure they callus before you do anything like that. Those ones are doing great. So this one and the one on the end were apple, this one's a pear. And then these apple trees have been suckering out pretty bad, so I've been planting the suckers, and they're growing really fast. And I just harvested some more and put them out here. Peach tree I just put here. Apple. Some apples over here. A couple of these got attacked by caterpillars. That's why this white stuff is. I put some BT on here. A lot of the leaves got chewed up. Otherwise, the terminal growth seems really good. They're growing like crazy. Well over my head now. Double the size they were last year. And I just planted them last year. Got pumpkins going nuts. Had some issues with vine borers. And so in a previous video, I did a little treatment tutorial on how I applied the vine borer BT. What is that, hazelnut? I can't remember what that is. I think it's pecan, but I forgot. Tons of tomatoes, basil, pumpkins, flowers, more pumpkins, tons of tomatoes, sweet potatoes. Strawberries are suckering out like crazy. Passion fruit. No fruit this year. Lots of raspberries. Elderberries. Uh-oh. Little stinkers. Sorry, you gotta see that on film. Yeah, if you have a problem with Japanese beetles, shout out, right? I hate these little guys. I've been doing pretty good about checking about 2 or 3 times a day, just wandering the yard. And if I see usually I'll just see 1 or 2 bushes that'll have like a cluster of them. I think they have some pheromone that tracks each other. But if I find the bush they're all on, I just go over and try to smash them all. Anyway, these are Nanking cherries, or bush cherries, some people call them. And then this is a black lace elderberry, I believe. Doing pretty well. Another one over here. And these are pokeberry. Kind of poisonous, so don't eat them unless you know what you're doing. Powerful anti-inflammatory. Little mulch bed over here. I inoculated this guy with wine cap mushrooms. Haven't seen any wine caps yet though. Blackberries. Got a bunch of random blackberries along here as well. This area is pretty shaded, so they're not doing too hot. Blackberry, they're just growing really slow. I mean, they're not doing bad. They're probably growing as you'd expect for anything growing in the shade. I have substantial shade from these giant black walnut and catalpa and another black walnut. This spot's not too bad. It's about this stupid poplar tree right here. Just started tiling some trees out in my yard, in my lawn. There's another bush cherry. I think that's a wild plum. And then over here I have a black cherry. You're familiar with black cherry. And then here is a, is that a crab apple? I'm not sure. It's so ravaged. Caterpillar totally took out like most of these leaves. That's kind of frustrating. I don't see a little caterpillar on here. Maybe I'll put some BT on there. I think the caterpillars hide during the day and then come out at night maybe. If you guys know what kind of caterpillar does that, let me know. But I'm pretty sure BT helps because the ones that I applied BT on haven't had any further damage. So I think the caterpillars eat the BT and then they just die. Hey, little wasp. This guy's looking for caterpillars for me. I think that's a caterpillar eater. I don't remember what kind that is. I know some of them are parasitic. Some of them just eat the caterpillars and stuff them in their little mason holes, and their babies eat them as grubs or something. But anyway, this is a pear tree. So you can see the duct tape I put on there to hold the branches up. So 2 different types of pears, Bartlett and Asian. Branches are growing really fast. Oop, I don't want to upset that wasp, especially when he's working good things for me. More pear trees. Pretty much the same story on all these guys. Just did a whole bunch of grafts, and they seem to be doing pretty well. Again, I reinforced those grafts just so they don't get too heavy. I also don't want to heavily prune them and cause them to not grow as fast as they would. Like for example, this one actually got too heavy and sheared off right here. I mean, I still have some growth on this side, but the main growth was right here and just sheared off in the wind, I'm guessing, or some vandal decided to tug on it. More likely it was the wind. I don't think anyone would purposefully damage my trees, but it's possible. Over here I have this massive black raspberry. I forget what type. I don't think this is a wild black raspberry. I just did some pruning over here, as you can see, because it was getting onto the sidewalk. Oh, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It starts with an M. Munger or something? Black raspberry? I can't remember. If you know what I'm talking about, leave a comment. I think I got it at Home Depot or Walmart, or not even sure. Got some of these weird long tomatoes. I forget what they're called, but tons of green ones. Haven't got any ripe ones off these. In my backyard I have some of those big beefsteak tomatoes, and I've already got a bunch of ripe ones. They're massive though, like bigger than the size of a baseball. Probably the most delicious tomatoes I've ever tasted. Another pear tree right here. And it's pretty much just that stick minus those top lighter green growths up here, so it seems to be doing really well. I think it's a spider web and not caterpillars. Yeah, I see the spider in the middle. Good spider. My figs are doing pretty well. Getting a little shaded though by these sunflowers, so I might cut a couple of the sunflowers back. So Chicago Hardy and Tiger Fig back here. And so I put them real close to my house on the south side. If you grow figs in zone 6, you know exactly why I did that. So hopefully they can make it through the winter without losing any growth. I'll probably wrap burlap around them this year. But the hope is once they get big enough, I won't have to winterize, is that the word? Winter prepare? Hey puppies. Got blackberry back here. And then a little grape. More blackberry. A lot of chaos back here. Loofah. This is actually from grape seeds. We got some grapes from the store that had the big fat seeds in them. And I saved a big handful of seeds, and I kind of followed the fence, just dropping seeds, and there's one of the seeds that sprouted, so interested to see what I get. I know the seedless grapes are all the rage, but I wonder if there's some nutrients in the seeds themselves, if you just swallow the seeds, that you can get that would be beneficial. Mulch piles back here. Something interesting I wanted to show. So those 3 trees down there used to be just as tall as these, but I cut them back. I got a pear, apple, pear, and I was nervous that cutting those ones down would have killed them, and so these ones I did differently. I just trimmed them a little bit, grafted in some scions. So these are pear scions. And then I left the giant pear tree. So this strategy also works if you're kind of nervous. You can always just do some grafting like this. And then next year, what I plan on doing is hopefully cutting these back without the falling branches damaging these scions. And then I'll have some guaranteed hardened growth that can kind of take over next year. And I'll probably do more grafts on whatever residual trunk I have left. This tree kind of makes me nervous though, because if you know anything about Bradfords, I mean, if you look right here, these things get too heavy and the whole tree will just split like a banana. It'll just shear in half in the wind. So thinking about renting something and just taking it down chunk by chunk. It's something similar on this one. This one's an apple. So I got some, oh cool, cicada skin. Anyway, can't even talk. Apple scions. This particular apple tree I actually really like. It's supposed to be a crab apple, but it had some kind of mutation because this particular crab apple has really big apples. Instead of the cherry-sized ones like I usually get, these ones are like 3 or 4 times bigger. They're still about half the size of a normal apple, and I still think it's considered a crab apple, but these ones just taste a heck of a lot better. Like these ones actually taste like a Granny Smith apple, but they're just really tiny, like a little mini Granny Smith. So I might just cut this half size just so that the branches aren't so high up. It's kind of annoying to harvest because most of the fruit is, you know, 15, 20 feet off the ground. And then the fruit will be so heavy, it'll actually bend the branches like they're gonna snap, especially if I fertilize. Last year I didn't fertilize and I didn't get that big of a harvest, but this year I fertilized early spring. And so I have just an insane amount of fruit on this thing. Back here I have this little basin. It just rains, it's a little cloudy. But I have a bunch of mosquito fish in here. The dogs love drinking the fresh rainwater. But I was starting to have a problem with the mosquitoes because this one, I didn't put fish in it. And so I had like just an outbreak of just thousands of mosquito larvae. And so it felt really dumb. And of course, put some little mosquito fish in there. I put like 10. Got them from a local stream. I just put 10 little mosquito fish in there and they completely ate every single mosquito larva within a matter of probably a day or two. So pretty crazy how fast they eat. Got some thornless blackberry here. Bunch of kale. I think that is Concord grape. Loofahs are popping up everywhere because I just kind of chaos seeded the loofahs. More Concord grapes. Actually gonna get some grapes on this. This is a 2nd-year vine. A lot of people pick the fruit off. I was thinking about it and I thought, what the heck, I'll leave a couple clusters. So Concord, doing decent. Ooh, little, I think that is a Primark Freedom blackberry. It's growing really slow. It's some kind of thornless bramble. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, what is it? I believe it has yellow berries. I forgot. You know what it is, tell me in the comments. Sweet potato. Coneflower / echinacea. That's actually ragweed. I just left it because it looked cool. More kale. Grapes. More grapes. More grapes. I believe these ones are Chardonnay. Mulberry. More kale. Josta. More grapes. More sweet potato. More grapes. These ones got ravaged by these Japanese beetles. Crunchy little things. Punching all these beetles. More sweet potato. More thornless blackberry. Bunch of grapes. More grapes. A bunch of black concord. No, black currant. Sorry, black currant. More grapes. Black currant. Oh boy. My tomatoes fell over. They're getting munched on by something naughty. Pick that up. This line got so big so fast. Harvest those things. Those things are huge. Thornless blackberries. I believe this is one of the Primarks, but I can't remember which one. It's either Freedom or Traveler. And I ordered of each kind, a couple of each kind. More currants, loofah, lots of sweet potato, more grapes, more grapes. Funny. It's a little lawnmower. Tons of kale. These loofahs are doing crazy. Lots of kale. Lots of... Oh, I can't focus because I'm getting bit by so many mosquitoes. Loofah. Grapes. I'm gonna move this bunny so we have some fresh food. Bunch of kale. Another pear tree. Grapes, kale. Mostly all the same stuff back here. Alright, tons of trumpet vines around the perimeter. My daughter loves little trumpet vines, so I just kind of let them live. Ooh, cool looking moth. If you know what kind of moth that is, leave me a comment. Bunch of these, oh man, what are they called? Amaryllis belladonna, I believe is the species. There's a common name to them, but I get in trouble whenever I say it out loud. Some raspberries. A little willow tree cutting. Put some of these little willow tree cuttings in my arrow garden and they rooted like crazy, so I just shoved them around the yard. Some of them are doing really well. Love to have a little willow tree right there. Mulberry, loofah climbing the fence over here. Lots of those things, whatever they're called. Trumpet vines. That's giant ragweed. It's kind of needs to be pulled out. Apples. You have so many plants in your head, you just can't think of the words. Catalpa, hackberry, blackberry, more hackberry, a willow tree right here. A willow seedling, I guess you want to call it. So this little area is like a fort. It has a bunch of random plants and things. So this is my little experimental area. Working on a pond / fountain. And then I have a little attractor right here. This lure right here attracts, what are they called? Japanese beetles. They fall in the water. I have about a dozen bullfrogs in here. And the bullfrogs eat the Japanese beetles. It's kind of cool to watch them because when they fall in, they just all surface like little Pac-Men trying to be the first one to swallow the beetles. And then I have mosquito fish in here just to keep mosquito larvae from breeding in here. And then on the end of my pond, So you plant nerds, if you know what this is. Yep, sweet potato, good job. Red bud, and all these are volunteer, of course. Trumpet vine. My kids love peeling off the trumpets and sucking the juice out of the ends. They're just full of nectar. They may comment if you know what I'm talking about. Kind of like honeysuckles, but bigger. Little nectarine tree that's growing super slow. It's probably diseased. Not sure. More loofah. And then over here I have this massive wild grape, some kind of fox grape. Not sure if it's fruiting or not, but I'll probably graft some concords into it. A bunch of these little pokeberry bushes back here. Birds love them. And then of course leaving these for the birds, they don't eat my berries, so. And then I kind of use them medicinally. Makes my back pain go away. Just don't eat more than one every 48 hours. Actually, don't eat them at all. They're poisonous. What is that? I forgot. Beautiful flower, whatever it is. Hibiscus? Maybe, I can't remember. This is Marionberry. A little ravaged by the Japanese beetles. Look at all this elderberry. Tons of elderberry clusters. So that's gonna be fun to harvest. Probably at least 5 or 10 pounds of elderberry right here. Maybe 20, I don't know. More grape. What is this? I think that's either boysenberry or marionberry. I forgot. I'll know when it fruits. Logan. That's what the one without the thorns is I saw earlier, a loganberry. These are all boysenberries over here. Tons of boysenberries. These all fruit pretty early in spring, or pretty early in summer, late spring. So trying to let them put on as much growth as possible, because then I'll get more berries. And we had a couple rainstorms in a row this week. Grass grows incredibly fast with these thunderstorms. And if you don't know this, it's because the lightning actually creates fertilizer. Anyway, all these black walnut seedlings wait to pop up until that heavy summer rain, it seems, because I have all these little baby black walnut trees. So if you want a black walnut seedling, reach out to me. I'll give you as many as you want for free. Probably like 40 of them popping up in my yard. I looked online and people sell those things for like 20 bucks each. I guess it makes sense if you want to take the time to harvest them. Yeah, I suppose if you make me come back here and dig them up myself, I'd probably charge you 10 or 20 bucks too. But yeah, if you want to come grab one, leave me a comment if you're in Missouri and help yourself. I think I covered most things. Lots of walnuts. That's probably all the interesting stuff. Oh yeah, maple tree. I tapped this thing in winter and got about a gallon of syrup or so. It's kind of cool. It's a lot of work to boil it down though, so I'll probably never do that again. I see why maple syrup's so expensive. Just the amount of propane you would burn just to boil off all the water probably accounts for the cost of all the syrup. Anyway, thanks for joining me in the cast.